Most people think Onitsha is just a busy city on the banks of the river Niger, known for its huge market and chaotic traffic. But beneath the noise and movement lies a hidden story, a royal legacy full of mystery, power, migration, betrayal, and spiritual secrets that go back over 500 years. This is the story of the Obi of Onitsha, one of the oldest and most respected kings in West Africa. And this is not the version you were taught in school. Let us take you back to where it all began. Over 5 centuries ago, long before Nigeria became a country, the people who would later be called the Onitsha people lived in the ancient Benin Kingdom. This was a time when kings ruled with both political and spiritual authority. But not everyone in the kingdom was happy. There were tensions, secret battles for power, disagreement about culture, religion, and the future of the land. One group, led by a spiritual man called Chima, disagreed with some of the harsh laws of the Oba of Benin. Chima was not just any man, he was a nobleman with wisdom and deep connection to the gods. When the conflict reached a boiling point, Chima and his followers decided to leave. Their journey took them eastward. They moved through forests, climbed hills, and crossed rivers. The most dangerous was the river Niger. The river was large, wild, and feared. Some even believed there was a monster inside it. But Chima had faith. He gathered his people and said, "If our gods are with us, this river will not swallow us. Instead, it will open the door to our new home." And so, they crossed. The river didn't stop them. Instead, it welcomed them. When they reached the other side, they settled on the hills by the riverbank. That land became Onitsha. The people needed a leader. Chima was gone, but his legacy remained. The people believed that their king should not only rule with power but with spiritual wisdom. He had to be chosen not just by men, but by the gods. So they created the title Obi, meaning heart or king in their dialect. The Obi was more than a ruler. He was the heart of the people, the voice of their ancestors, and the bridge between the living and the spirit world. The first Obi was Obi Chimdai, a direct descendant of Chima. He was not crowned like a European king. Instead, his coronation involved 7 days of sacred rituals, isolation, ancestral blessings, and a secret ceremony only known to elders. Every Obi of Onitsha since then must go through the same sacred rite. When the British arrived in Onitsha in the 1800s, they were surprised to find a well-organized kingdom with a powerful Obi, a council of chiefs, and traditional courts. But the British didn't come to respect tradition. They came to rule. They called Onitsha a trading post, but what they really wanted was control. They built missions, schools, and military outposts. At first, they tried to work with the Obi. But when they saw that the people respected the Obi more than the white men, they became angry. One Obi, Obi Anazonwu, refused to surrender his authority. He told the British, "You may have guns, but we have our gods." The British didn't like that. They called him a rebel and tried to weaken the throne. But the people stood by their king. Even during colonial rule, the Obi of Onitsha remained a symbol of unity and strength. What many people don't know is that the Obi doesn't just wear a crown. He wears the spirits of generations. Before a new Obi is crowned, he must spend time alone in a sacred grove. There, he meets the spirits of the former kings. He is tested by the priests, the land, and even by dreams. One legend says that if a man who is not worthy tries to become Obi, he will fall ill or even die before the coronation. Another tradition says the Obi must never eat in public. Why? Because he is considered too sacred. Even the food he eats must be blessed. His feet must not touch the ground during certain months. The throne is not just power, it is sacrifice. Today, the Obi of Onitsha is Egui Nayimeka Alfred Achebi. He is a graduate of Stanford and Columbia Universities, and he worked as an executive at Shell. But when his people called him to the throne, he answered. He left the corporate world behind and accepted the sacred duty. Even though he is highly educated and connected to the modern world, he respects every ancient rite. He fasted. He entered the sacred grove. He bowed to the ancestors. He now rules as both a modern leader and a traditional king. People say, how can a Shell executive become king? But in Onitsha, no one becomes king because of money. They become king because the spirits choose them. The Obi's palace is not just a building. It is a living museum. Every wall tells a story. Statues of past kings. Carvings of battles. Sacred drums that are only played during coronations. The palace has a hall called Obi Agbojidi, where only titled men may enter. Foreigners who enter must remove their shoes. Women must tie wrappers properly. It is not fashion, it is respect. Every year, during the Ofola festival, the Obi comes out to bless the people. Thousands gather, wearing colorful clothes. Masquerades dance. Chiefs kneel. It is more than celebration. It is a connection to the ancestors. In Onitsha, the Obi is not far from the people. He listens to disputes. He settles family feuds. He blesses marriages. He prays for rain. He is not just a king, he is a father. Children sing his praises. Elders tell his story. Traders in the market say, as long as the Obi is on the throne, we will not be lost. Even those who travel abroad return during Ofola to pay respect. Some bring gifts. Others bring tears. Because no matter where they go, Onitsha people carry their Obi in their heart. One story that is rarely told is the hidden test every Obi must pass. When the king is chosen, he must visit the river at midnight, alone. There, he pours libation and calls on Chima, the founding father. If the water accepts him, it will remain still. If not, the wind will rise. Many say this is just myth. But elders know that on the night of Igwe Achebi's coronation, the river was silent. Not a ripple. The water had spoken. It is said that the Obi's crown was blessed by 7 prophets. But with that blessing came a warning. If ever an Obi uses the throne for greed, his voice will be lost, and the kingdom will mourn. That is why the Obi must avoid pride. He cannot show anger in public. He must forgive even when offended. The throne is power, but also burden. And so, not everyone wants to be Obi. Some have refused the crown. Others have died before coronation. The spirits know who is worthy. Today, Onitsha faces new challenges: urban growth, crime, political chaos, and loss of culture. But the Obi remains a guiding light. He is not just concerned with tradition. He pushes education, peace, and unity. He encourages youth to learn history, not just from books but from their elders. And every time he walks in public, the people shout, Ibiku. It means, our shield, our protector, our king. So now you know, the King of Onitsha is not just a man in beads and wrapper. He is history, spirit, power, and sacrifice. He came from Benin. He crossed the river Niger. He built a kingdom. And he sits on a throne guarded by gods. If this story opened your eyes, then share it. Because the truth about African kings is not just about the past. It is about who we are, and who we can become. Long live the Obi. Long live the people of Onitsha. Long live the motherland.